Thank you so much, guys. Myself and Clement have hot swapped onto the desk for this one, and we're going to be jumping right into the thick of the action, because unfortunately we were not able to get the first 16 minutes of gameplay, but we are just going to try and analyze the crime scene and see what happened so far, Clement.
Yes, and unfortunately we do not know what happened in these previous 16 minutes. Our producers did take us here blindfolded, and there's actually still shackles on my feet right now. So
you weren't meant to say that, Clement, but well, I'll see you afterwards because you may be lacking a kidney. But as we get into this one, 17 minutes, we can see 7 kills have happened so far, 2 dragons to TOP, one's going to be an Infernal Dragon, the other an Ocean, and there is a slight advantage in terms of gold as well, plus that first tower.
Ooh, so the first thing we notice is that the gold lead is in TOP's favor, and if we look at the kill distribution, it does look like the counter pick of Cassiopeia has been working very well for Ggoong in the mid lane. Now remember, TOP, because they have that import rule, they can only run Ggoong and XX or MaRin and Khorne. And this game, they have chosen the better mid laner and going with Ggoong and XX.
Yeah, usually you would look at TOP as well, and you look towards MaRin and what's his impact on the game going to be. Also in Champion Select, there were actually no top lane bans towards TOP right here, so it was just looking towards answers to try and shut down MaRin instead.
And that's a very interesting for WE, because TOP right now as a team, they only have one victory condition, and that is the MaRin split push. So for WE, if they're leaving all of these top laners open, it means they do have a very good counter strategy. And I do think they have a very good draft to counteract the forward right here. The Camille is very good at picking out side lanes. xiye basically has a teleport whenever he wants it. He can also pitch those side lanes.
Yeah, so that was a mid-tower dying right there. TOP were able to crack the second tower of the game, and the defense coming in from QiuQiu on top of that. Tristana was looking for the top lane siege, so it's still 2 towers to 0 right now. TOP with a pretty significant advantage, and it seems like a lot of it has been leveraged out from Ggoong and XX, so it seems like the substitution is working out.
Yeah, definitely. And XX on the TOP roster has been kind of the weak point for their team. Did not have a very good showing. MaRin, on the other hand, has been Top's best player, but because they want to play MaRin at the same time, they have chosen to kind of swap him out and let Ggoong in instead. Now, the other mid laner TOP has is Khorne, but he's been having kind of a rough time in his previous games on Karma, and Ggoong really is the face of this team. He's been around forever. They want that stability with him.
Yeah, for sure. Seeing Khorne come in and then MaRin, it seems like a new age of TOP. That is definitely difficult to look at, for sure, but Ggoong is coming in here. And 4-3 in terms of kills. We've got Australia lanes going on right now. Gnar and Sion just in the bottom side of the map. We're going to take a look at some of the itemization that's gone on so far. MaRin's actually on Gnar in this game, so we were kind of thinking of champions that he could pick up, like Kennen, someone who can split push, and also teamfight. It seems like Gnar's going to fit the same bill. He already has that Black Cleaver, but top side of the river right now, multiple teleports coming in. Knockback comes in, Hextech ultimatum. QiuQiu's going to die on the spot. MaRin and Ggoong, they're pretty angry. They've just lost their AD carry, looking for the counter defense right here, but Cat is completely separated, and it looks like TOP just going to feed him to the wolves.
W just got the drop on TOP. Even though Gnar was already there in Mega Gnar form, he decided not to go in. They understood they were too late in the play, and they just gave their bottom lane up.
Yeah, push now coming into the top lane for WE, looking to finally knock down this top tower. But there is a response from TOP moving towards this mid lane. Tower's already dead, but they can put some down, some actually defensive and aggressive vision, as you can see in the river.
Yeah, and the big thing we have to notice was, how is MaRin doing relative to 957? Can he commence the split push? Can he get TOP rolling in their main strategy? But before that, we should take another look at the replay right here. It is a 3-man engage from WE, coming up much faster than the teleports coming in from TOP side, and they're able to get a very clean catch out onto these members.
Yeah, and Cat, unfortunately, he was just kind of in the middle of everyone, and TOP thought about fighting, but a 4 versus 5 with Braum already in that deep, probably don't want to have to go to that, go in on that play rather, and will decide to back away. So after that, WE have managed to salvage the situation, catch up a little bit in terms of gold as well.
And this has been a really big problem for TOP. MaRin might be a very good split pusher, but do his teammates know how to play in a 4-1 system? Because a lot of times the other 4 members have to hold on. They have to stay in their lanes, not venture out, and really just let the split pusher do their job. They should be taking the second step in trying to push the lanes with MaRin at the same time. But if they're going in alone, then that's a point that W can attack very easily. They have drafted a lot of initiation, so they can punish the 5v4 very easily.
Yeah, we see WE now regrouping in the mid lane with those 3 members. Looking to push up once again. Dragon's going to be spawning in 50 seconds, so you can see teams moving towards the area, trying to place down vision, get control over the mid lane, which will be the pivot point here for both teams.
It's really interesting how WE is counteracting MaRin. They are sending xiye into the side lanes to face him. And if you look at the kills and the CS score, he should have no problem really dueling against this Gnar for the time being. It does seem like TOP, for their strategy to work, it's going to have to hold on for a very, very long time. And if you look at their composition, they do have those pieces that really talk about a more defensive position. The Cassiopeia, great in chokes. The Varus kind of does the same thing as well. This is a composition that they can try to hold on in turtle as a 4-man and really wait till MaRin has his edge.
Yeah, exactly. And that's pretty much when you look at this composition and of the team, you know, you look towards these players like, well, you have MaRin, who's a massive threat by himself. You can always just stick him in the sideline. He's most likely going to be able to outclass whoever he's facing down right now, and he will be able to get that push down, you know, and he's playing into 957 on this Sion, so put him in the side lane, see what you can get out of it. And so far from what we've seen from MaRin in the LPL on TOP, that strategy has been working, especially on that Kennen game, was able to win the top lane and also transition into those team fights. And for now, it seems like TOP have complete control over the map, able to pick up the 3rd dragon completely uncontested.
Yeah, and really WE were nowhere to be seen, instead setting up Vision over Baron. So what WE is saying basically is that we're going to try to goad you into a fight when you're not prepared. We have the initiation to really send our Alistar to the backline, FedEx him in, and start a fight when you're not necessarily prepared for it. So that was kind of the trade-off in tempo for WE. Let's see if it pays out and if they can go top into that area.
Yeah, so for now, we can take a bit of a breather here, Clement, because the game has slowed down just a little.
Just what I needed.
23 minutes, yeah, we definitely had to try and recap a whole lot that went on in this game. So once again, guys, apologies for that one. We also are experiencing a small audio desync, so stick with us. We are trying to resolve the issue as fast as possible. But right now, we do have the push happening in the mid lane. Actually sending xiye to the bottom lane now. That will be his lane assignment. Has gone for the Unsealed Spellbook, and will have the teleport to try and face down MaRin here.
Yeah, and TOP, even though their composition is very defensive in nature, they can also punish very hard if WE screw up some of their engages right here. For WE, they do have to play a very layered initiation. They can't go in all at the same time, or else Ggoong is going to punish them super hard. They also have the Braum and the Varus ultimate, the Chains of Corruptions as well. So even if WE do get the initiation off, they still have a level of execution that they do have to reach in order for it to work.
Yeah, now just shifting around the map once more. The only real big objective on the map right now for both teams is pretty much that Baron. The towers have been evened up now, so the wards are being placed around the area, as you can see. Multiple defensive wards as well coming in from WE within their own jungle. And for now, as you said, both of these two teams just kind of waiting it out until we get to that point.
It is worthy to note that TOP was able to wrestle back vision control from the Baron without really going into any fights with WE. So that's definitely a big win for them. That means the Dragon was essentially free.
Yeah, for sure. And at the end of the day, they are also facing WE, who have Magic and Celestial still playing for the team right here. So this isn't the OG WE roster, you know. Ben and Condi will not be playing today, so this is WE still trying to find their footing once again in the split. You know, it did start off with Condi not playing, and then we saw MaRin come into the jungle. So this is WE who are definitely wounded, at least in terms of their roster. And when you look at the league in general, Clement, you know, we were looking at this one, and it feels like WE need to win all of these games like right now, because if you look towards the Western Conference, FPX are tied with them, and FPX, their strength of schedule actually looks like they could leapfrog them into playoffs. I know it's only week 5. But this is a very real possibility unless they start getting wins like right now.
WE, a semi-finalist team from last year, now on the brink of missing playoffs, and their star players in Condi and Ben are not coming in to really help them out. They're trying to develop their other talents in the meantime. So very tight scenario for WE.
It is. Gank into the bottom lane, though. Magic lands a Hextech ultimatum, and MaRin, nice double stun against the wall. He's got the teleport coming in as well. Jumps away. Teleport very late coming in from WE. But he needs to try and finish off MaRin right now. He does get the slam coming down, but here comes Ggoong. Does he have the damage? Now he has to back away. Great sidestep away from 957. And Magic, he may have made it out. xiye, he's trying to get everyone to safety. Oh,
Magic
not quite in time. And he doesn't manage to get to the chopper in time. He will die for that one, but 2 members of WE do make it out.
Yeah, and even though that was a 1v1 trade, which I would say is kind of in favor of TOP, we can't see the pieces that WE drafted to punish the 4-1. If you have a teleport mid, the 4-1 strategy actually doesn't work that often because you can instantly go on him, kill him, and then you still have 2 teleports to then join your team. So the play execution wasn't the best for WE, but you could see what they were thinking about. They definitely met the challenge challenge of TOP head on, and they wanted to challenge the 4-1 split push.
Yeah, for sure. But MaRin did at the end play that very well, but much time for his team to arrive and try and collapse in. You can see he was actually pretty far pushed up. He was at his outer dead turret, but he survived all the way into his inner.
There was no way he should have survived for so long. It really was about the ultimate really tagging xiye just by the edge and allowing him enough time to pounce back and then use his flash again. Still dies, but all the TOP members are already here. Great sidestep from Ggoong as well.
Yeah, and then QiuQiu was able to turn up, and it was essentially trying to get to the chopper. It looked like he was inside, but unfortunately he was not. He was just on the edge. So
no chopper for you, Magic.
Nope. Magic will unfortunately die for that play. But, you know, WE are still trying to identify these plays that they can make and try and punch what Top are bringing in right here. But, you know, MaRin, he's just simply going to go back right now. Yes, he's 1-3-2, but that doesn't really tell the tale of how much pressure MaRin's able to have.
Yeah, MaRin has basically revitalized this team. He's given TOP a win condition and given them their first win against Vici Gaming. Now, there's been a lot of hype for MaRin back, and the slogans have really been, you might not know TOP, but you definitely know MaRin.
Yeah, MaRin getting kind of caught out right here, but Chain of Corruption will have to be flashed away from by Mystic, so burns the Summoner spell and pretty much is looking for TOP to try and fully disengage. Here comes the engage coming out from Celestial. Double knockup comes in. Sion slams into the wall by himself. That one's not going to move for you. And Ggoong will look to back away right here. Everyone's grouped up. Hextech Ultimatum onto Ggoong as well. That will be the kill. Triple knockup once more. This is going well for WE right now. xiye looking for the damage, and unfortunately rooted in place.
Double kill.
QiuQiu will go down. Double kill over to xiye.
Great initiation coming out from Celestial, and also Magic really keeping the backline completely isolated. You could see Mystic right there. Wasn't even touched at all. Allowed to free fire throughout the entire duration of that team fight. And TOP were just caught off guard in a very weird place. MaRin was trying to transition and group for the mid tower, and doubly punished that very well.
Oh wow, Mystic actually, with the ward over the wall, was out to blow up the blast cone, so XX will not have a way out of this one, and is being zoned away by xiye, so this is going to be the Baron uncontested here. Well played with WE, using all their resources to take this one away.
And this is absolutely huge for WE, because once a team has Baron, there's no more split push for you. I could be behind 2 levels, down 50 CS, and playing a tank. It doesn't matter. You can't split push against me, because I have that Hand of the Baron buff on my minions.
Yeah, WE able to turn that into a mid lane tower on top of that, and you can see the gold has completely swung in this game as you look towards how MaRin initially got caught.
So MaRin was faster on the pincer, so he wanted to get a 5v4 going beforehand, but unfortunately his position was a little bit off, and you can really see how the Camille can put a lot of initiation pressure onto a 4-1 composition, going in, forcing MaRin out. Great engage from Celestial, and just look at Mystic's position. Like, he's completely untouched in this team fight, while on the other hand, Cho'Gath is sitting inside a Hextech Ultimatum. And a second initiation from Celestial, going back for the triple knockup again.
Yeah, Celestial plays it super well, and you're absolutely right. Looking towards xiye and Mystic, I don't think anyone touched them for that entire team fight.
Definitely didn't.
Look at the damage
5,000 damage in one team
because they just stood there. They didn't need to move whatsoever. They just stood there. Machine gun mage in xiye, and then the machine gun AD carry Mystic just firing off shots and completely dominating that team fight into the Baron, into a mid lane tower, and now the push once more. So you can see a 1-3-1 now forming from WE as they look to push in all lanes simultaneously.
Didn't even need to basically orb walk. He could sit there and auto attack
hands
all
off the keyboard.
Very easy team fight coming out from WE's backline. And with the Baron buff, this really changes how TOP want to play the game. If they want to have sort of a comeback, they don't want to give up all of their outer turrets for free, they're going to have to entertain the 5v5. And that's only going to come with MaRin fully charged, so that really changes a lot of the dynamics. They're going to have to be placing wards behind the WE. They're going to have to look for the first move instead of the way you traditionally play the 4-1.
Yeah, right now xiye is pushing down this bottom lane, looking for a member to try and face him down. It's going to be Ggoong and it's going to be XX looking to try and stop this push coming in from xiye, but that means somewhere pressure's going to have to give mid lane. It's Cat and it's QiuQiu against a 4-man push from WE, so of course this isn't going to go too well.
Yeah, and you can see what MaRin is doing right here. He's not even going to come and try to help his team because he knows he doesn't have rage on him. Yeah. If he doesn't have rage, it doesn't really make sense for him to come back. They're still going to lose the tower anyway. So instead, he's just trying to build it up, push the waves out, and probably wait for a next chance. They do have a lot of good wards behind WE, though. This is something we have to pay attention to, especially in that mid lane.
Right now it's kind of damage control for WE. Celestial is getting burnt down. Will pop the Unbreakable Will, but the chase continues. In comes 957, charging up the ultimate. Gets a nice triple knockup coming in there as well. xiye, great sidestep on the fissure. And there's so much damage. Down goes Ggoong, down goes Celestial, but it's a 2-for-2 trade as they continue the chase. 957 backing away, but xiye is murdering absolutely everybody. Round Warp tries to lock down Cho'Gath. Will flash after, and the overload for the kill. 957 looking towards XX, and the blast cone gets xiye a little bit closer. Arctic Assault to safety. But it's a 3-for-4 trade, favor WE.
Yeah, so two big things right there happened for WE. Number one is that MaRin did not have enough rage for an ultimate. You can see right on the top right corner. Didn't get to use that Gnar ult. And also, I felt like Mystic came in such a good angle, was able to pick off Ggoong at the start of the fight, and they really had that pincer over TOP. TOP wanted to fight, thought they caught xiye, but when they funneled in, they were really getting pincered from both sides. And in that type of scenario, Ggoong did not even get to use his ultimate because he could only ult a single side. If W were all coming in from a single direction, then Cassiopeia would be a lot more useful.
Off the back of that, WE were able to pick up an inhibitor. And Sion will make sure there is no way that anyone can catch him. So we get to see that once again. And Celestial, it looked like he was in a bad spot.
Yeah, TOP really thought they caught WE out, so going all in right here, even without rage on MaRin. Look at Mystic's position, goes directly on Ggoong and basically one-shots him. No ultimate used from him at all. And without two ultimates on the team, TOP, there's really no way they should be able to win this team fight, lacking too much damage.
And xiye with the great follow at the end even managed to save Flash through all of that because, again, xiye was completely untouched. Mystic was the one who was being focused, but these two big carries on WE, TOP are unable to lock down both of them, and if one is left alive, they're probably going to kill your whole team, and that's exactly what we saw in that fight.
Yeah, and TOP, I feel like that fight was very uncoordinated. What they could have done was MaRin, when he had his rage bar, he could have done that teleport then. And in the jungle kind of terrain, it's very easy for him to get multiple knockups into the wall, get that double damage on his Gnar ultimate, and clean up the fight from there. But what TOP decided to do was kind of push their luck on something that probably wasn't there in the first place.
Now, it says exactly what you were saying before, Clement. This is a great team when you're in those choke points, when you're in the jungle. You know, multi-man Cassiopeia ultimate, multi-man Gnar ultimates. It all sounds great on paper with QiuQiu able to lock people down with the Chain of Corruption, but it does come into that execution. And it feels like TOP are slightly disconnected here. We're actually seeing the MaRin special. He's picked up the rapid-fire cannon once more in the side lane.
Yeah, we are seeing this quite often. It's just because the Zeal items are very cost efficient for Gnar. So a lot of times after he gets his Frozen Mallet and he's looking for other options to kind of fight in the side lanes, they will either go for the Phantom Dancer or the Rapid Cannon. And it also does double up as a range increase for you for the Frozen Mallet. Yeah. So that way you can get catches a little bit easier.
Trying to lock down onto a target, especially in the side lane as well, if he's able to chase down the Sion. Unfortunately, Sion is 1-0-8 this game and has 3 tank items moving towards his Thorn Mail on top of that, so will be very difficult to beat in a side lane right here. And right now, it's just WE taking every objective away from TOP, big or small, as there is an Elder Dragon spawning in 30 seconds, a Baron in 50 seconds here, so there might be a trade happening, though there is a small window where WE might be able to get both.
The scenario I see right now is unless WE fumble up on one of their initiations, they all come in the same lane in a very short corridor, or else WE is going to win the team fight, basically. Yeah. They do have to mis-execute at some point. And for TOP, they really aren't a team that can walk into WE. That's going to be a big problem for them. They don't really have the frontline power compared to the Sion. Especially when Gnar is in mini Gnar form, they really can't do that. So they're going to be the team that has to set up before WE. And what this means is that WE is going to have basically free reign over the map.
It's actually xiye right here, just soloing the Elder Dragon. Now, I've seen QiuQiu do this before, Clement. I don't think I've ever seen a Ryze solo the Elder Dragon. Now, the rest of the team are Ryze, but he was definitely able to do that by himself.
He was on course.
Yeah, 100%. In comes the engage right here. Cat's going to get knocked up. That's going to be a huge knock-up as well, following it from that Sion. But right now, the rest of the team can't really get involved. That was a fantastic Fissure coming in from Cat. Now comes the chase. Celestial looking for the CC, but again, the carries can't really get in there. And MaRin, he teleports in by himself, so he's just going to die. But that's going to be traded for Celestial. In comes Magic with a great ultimate coming in here, but there's the lockdown onto xiye and 957, courtesy of Ggoong, looking towards XX now. He flashes away, and TOP, where are the resets? We see Mystic, there's one, jumps in for the second. He's looking to make this happen, but Mystic, he gets knocked down by Ggoong. And WE, it's a 2-for-2.
A great turnaround damage on Mystic, and also the shield holding on to that for the entirety of the fight. Ggoong at the last second pops his Angel Seraph and basically shows his cards to Mystic, and Mystic should have known he was dead at that point.
WWE now with the damage dealer still alive in the form of xiye. We'll move on to this Baron right here, but XX, this is the potential for him to look for this steal. He is on a ward, but this is essentially a 50-50 here, Clement.
He is under-leveled, so if it does come down to a smite fight, then Magic should win it.
Cat here as well. This time he's here to body block.
They're going to go for the 50-50. I don't think this
low.
is a good move from WE.
This is really scary. XX over the wall! And he finds the steal! He's got so much HP. We'll see if he can get out of this one, but even so, he is the hero that TOP needed right here.
Such a big boon for the rookie right there in TOP. We could see the close-up. Absolutely ecstatic for getting that Baron. But a very questionable play from WE, trying to entertain that 50-50. Even though you have a one-level advantage over XX, in terms of smite, that doesn't mean that much.
No, it's like a 55-45. But in that situation where the Baron's dying so slowly, it's like, well, it very much becomes a 50-50 and just down to that smite. But you're absolutely right. You said while that play was happening, I don't know about this WE. I don't know if this is a good play because XX is over the wall and you have no way of stopping him from coming over.
It definitely isn't, because in W's position, you can win the game without this Baron. You're far enough ahead. You've been winning all the team fights. Why risk this Baron? If the enemy team gets the Baron, then they can stall the game even longer. We're talking about MaRin. Late game, he can split push. He can team fight very well on that Gnar. You're basically giving TOP another way back into the game.
Exactly.
It wasn't worth the risk at all.
Yeah, like you're strong now into this game, but like give them another 5-10 minutes here, Clement, and then yeah, TOP can very realistically start finding these fights. Varus is going to scale Cassiopeia. We all know that is a hyper scaling mid laner, and then MaRin as well. The ultimates, like, don't give them an opportunity. And right here, we see WE regaining control of the map, but it's 10 times harder now for them to push into these towers with Barons up minions.
It's really important to sometimes think about it's not only what you want, but what the enemy needs. And if you can deny what the enemy needs, then you can stay ahead.
MaRin, he's managed to connect onto Celestial. He's got the chase down coming in, and a concussive blows are about to proc onto Celestial as well. 957 looking for the ultimate, lands the knockup onto the front line. Cat responds with a Winter's Bite, but in from behind. Ryze very far from the play. Celestial's already dead. Mystic, Magic trying to find his way onto the back lines here. They've locked down QiuQiu, but he does have the Guardian Angel. Triple knockup coming in right now, and xiye providing the damage, but MaRin, he's a brick wall that he cannot get through. Mystic gets caught out. QiuQiu knocks him down. 957 by himself, and xiye cannot do anything. 957, he's dead, and xiye, he's on the run. 4 kills over to TOP, and xiye, he's running the wrong direction. He's trying to get out. He does have the stopwatch and the ultimate, but MaRin's going to continue the chase.
He's trying to go for the inhibitor trade.
He's looking for it, but the rest of the team from TOP, they're pushing down the mid lane here, Clement.
That's actually, I'm sorry, but that's actually a very good trade from xiye, because even if he dies here, if he can get this inhibitor trade, it basically nullifies the teamfight win from TOP. And he's wasting a lot of time here. It's going to be up to TOP to really race down that inhibitor.
But that's really on execution, because
xiye,
he doesn't get it. He's trying to get this going to MaRin, but the body block coming in to flash after.
1v3!
The Room Prison. xiye, what was that? Now he's looking for the 1 versus 1. He will eventually die, but he locks 3 members down from TOP, preventing the end.
I had my questions at the start, but that was definitely a 200 IQ play there from xiye. Really trying to, he almost got the inhibitor trade as well. That was the best case scenario, but able to drive enough members, waste enough time from TOP so that they only get 1 inhibitor. That was brilliant from xiye.
Yeah, he was too smart for all of us. He was thinking with portals, and we were just thinking on the 2D play, and that was absolutely exceptional. Doesn't manage to pick up the inhibitor, but prevents the end of the game, so I don't think you can ask for anything more, really.
Yeah, drew 3 members away from TOP. However, we do have to kind of criticize the damage in last team fight. Well, I'm not sure if that counted as a team fight. I would say xiye did 0 damage in the last team fight, but he did do very well afterwards. And that was the big point I wanted to make. The way WE played the team fight was incorrect. What they should have tried to do was hold the choke right there and wait for xiye to go straight into Cho'Gath and Ggoong, really tear up the backline, but they weren't able to hold the choke. Magic at that point didn't have his Guardian's Angels anymore, so he couldn't really hold that spot. Also, Celestial fell down extremely fast, and props to TOP. They read the teamfight terrain very well, knew which direction they should have been going in, and executed on it.
And TOP losing the Elder Dragon, pick up the Baron buff, defend, then managed to go even in the fight, almost end the game off of that. We're now 41 minutes into this one, and this game could go either way. The fact that WWE managed to wrestle control in the mid game, but TOP have managed to get it back. It was a little bit of a throw, mind you, around the Baron, but TOP, their hands were up. They caught it. They caught that throw, and now they're right back in this game.
They definitely have the ball in their court at this point. Those big moves and the inhibitor going down means that TOP can set up for fights on either side of the jungle. They can just walk up with the mid lane wave and then flank to the top or the bottom. So they should be using this wave and trying to get map control over it. So what this forces is basically a lot of the times W is going to have to face check in the next couple of minutes. Luckily for them, though, however, the Baron is still very far from being up. So if they can get their inhibitor before the Baron comes up, then basically W have a kind of even footing back into the game.
And TOP will just finish up some of the housekeeping, which is take down the outer turret at the 42 minutes into the game, and now looking towards its inner tower now. XX just off to the side, looking for a potential ultimate to lock down the target.
Yeah, once again, putting the pressure down.
He's in the bottom lane. Someone's going to have to deal with this. Yeah, someone needs to do something. TOP are going to continue pushing the top lane right here. I think they might actually. TOP, they're pushing in. They're going to knock down the inhibitor on top of this, but it's turned into a bit of a base race. Teleport in from MaRin, but where does the engage happen? WWE might think they could try this 4 versus 4 right now. Celestial and Magic, they're just around the side looking for this flank to happen.
And xiye is still going in. MaRin had to go back because he couldn't win the duel. Can they get out is the question for TOP.
I mean, they're trying to stop the recalls, and that's exactly what WWE are doing. And now MaRin's back from the spawn pad, but he's not winning this trade against xiye. He's just too damn big. Celestial, he's looking at these guys recalling over the wall.
xiye going for the hero play once more. Already has a Nexus turret down.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely worth it, and well played to WE, playing around xiye, pushing in there. There are supers knocking on the front door, however, from WE, but TOP are not in position to stop these recalls.
In this situation, a bottom lane inhibitor trade for a top lane inhibitor trade is an advantage for WE. This means that they can set up for Baron plays a lot easier. The bottom lane inhibitor, definitely the most worthwhile inhibitor in the late game.
Right now, we've settled back just a little, a small lull in the action, kind of in the eye of the storm, as there are just constant fights around these big objectives. 15 seconds left on the Baron respawn, 2 minutes left on the Elder. You have to think that Baron's going to become the major contention point now in this game for both of these two teams. We're approaching 6 items, if not already at 6 items, for all carries in this game.
Oh, and xiye just going head on against MaRin. He's basically saying, TOP, you want to play 4-1? We can play 4-1, and I'm going to beat your 1.
I mean, right now he is gigantic, 10, 2, and 3, 4-item build, has the Void Staff as well to get through that resistance, only from the Adaptive Helm right now from MaRin, so he's going to be able to beat him in the 1v1 over time, unless TOP look for a force.
xiye has been the one keeping W afloat so far. W in a bit of a kind of a lull right now. They've just came off a win against, they just came off one of the win that stopped their 3-game losing streak. But so far, they've only won one team against one team that has an above-average record in Ggoong. They have FPX at their heels, just really chasing at them. They really need this win.
They need this win, and it's a full series. This is only game 1 right here, and it seems like our first game of every series we've had today has just been absolutely bonkers. But WWE will have to try and make this the 2-1, the 2-0 against TOP, who were not so long ago the weakest team in the league. But after MaRin, after the win the other week, they have been looking stronger and stronger. WE, they need this win. You're absolutely right.
This is a smart prove from TOP. They are shifting around their split pushers. They're sending Ggoong against xiye instead of MaRin, who really lacks some of the big MR items right here. Now, Ggoong on the Cassiopeia is a traditional counter to Ryze, so she should fare a lot better there.
For sure, and he has the teleport as well to be able to respond to the play, and that's something that xiye does not have. And now that the Baron has spawned over 2 minutes, Elder Dragon's also going to be up here, so he doesn't need the teleport to get involved with the play if he's moving towards the objective. But this now does open up the possibility for TOP to go straight towards the Baron.
And I don't believe WE has seen that teleport, so they might not know Ggoong has already been there as well. And just look how well MaRin is zoning. Elder for Baron trade.
It almost feels like this was seen out by WE, but now TOP have the chance to try and beeline it towards the area and see if they can stop it. Looks like they've paused in the mid lane, are looking to just ram it down mid right now. There is an open inhibitor, and TOP are going to be late to this play. They've only just picked up the Elder Dragon and 8 seconds on those recalls, but TOP decide, hey, by the time we get there, probably W will be there to meet us, so we will go back to base and reset.
We are on patch 8.2, so in terms of Baron versus Elder, Baron is almost always worth it. You also get the attack and AP stats with it, and if you look at WE, the number of Drakes they only have 1 Drake, so that Elder Dragon is not doing that much for them.
Yeah, exactly. And TOP will manage to push out all these waves once more. It'll even be super effective in the bottom lane if xiye again looks to try and push in that side lane. Well, there's going to be Baron up minions there as well to try and deal with. So it will also stop that split push. And now he's moving towards that top lane once more. So kind of putting a damper on this game and pushing it just a couple minutes into the future as we might find ourselves in a stalemate.
That was a very good play coming out from Ggoong. He recognized that the xiye could not track him anymore. First they had MaRin kind of push away the position for xiye, and then all of them basically ran to the Baron pit for that play to happen. And W were just late on the play. They realized, hey, they're already taking Baron. We're 2 steps behind. We have to get something on the map, and that's why they traded the Elder. I don't think this was a voluntary trade from WE.
And TOP just had the initiative on that play pretty much and are now able to push out all 3 of their waves, moving MaRin back to the top lane here to slowly push this one out, probably keep in line with his team. And the rest of them are actually choosing to back away here, move as a group of 4. Blue buff will be spawning soon for them as well, probably going to be something they want to move towards as a unit instead of just sending Ggoong by himself and being like, well, good luck, mate. There could be 3 people there, so they're actually going to send the whole team. And he's going to get the bot lane farm as well on top of that. So 47 minutes into this game, and we are essentially just waiting on objectives once again to spark a fight.
Yeah, we do have to see if TOP are able to use their Baron timer over the Elder Dragon, because Elder lasts 150 seconds while Baron lasts 4 minutes. So that does give you a 1 minute and a half. 1.5 minute timer to really go in on WE and have that advantage in terms of stats. I'm really interested if that is TOP's plan, because if both sides lose their big buffs, I would still give the teamfight advantage over to WE.
Yeah. You look at that team right now. On the opposite side, though, you know, there's pretty big damage threats. You know, QiuQiu is unlocked in a fight. He will rip through that front line. But then again, you know, Tristana late game, 6 items, has actually sold his boots. He's gone 6 damage items, plus he's got the QSS in the form of Mercurial Scimitar.
And that is why I say WE should have to have the better 5v5. They have the better tank in Sion, and they also have the better damage dealer in Tristana. So in terms of a straight-up 5v5, it should go over to WE. It's really up to TOP to either punish mistakes from WE or try to use this Baron timer.
Yeah, MaRin's going to move to the side lane once again, push out this minion wave, but Baron doesn't seem like it's got much longer on it. It seems like around 20 to 30 seconds, so there's only 1 push left in it.
It's enough time to get inhibitors, though.
It is. They will have to push up right now, though, as this minion wave drives into the base, and it doesn't look like TOP really want to ride off the back of it.
Yeah, probably not ballsy enough to go all in, and that there is the Baron buff falling off for... oh, excuse me. Sorry. I guess Cat just didn't have it.
Yeah. XX, it looks like it's just worn off now of TOP as they push into the base. There is no Elder Dragon, however. Celestial looking towards him on the flank right now, places down the control ward he knows he's not seen. If TOP push into the base, this will be the trap that WE are looking for.
They can get Ggoong. He's in a very bad
position. He's chasing in, lands the knock-up, the knockback as well onto Ggoong, but he backs away. Celestial looking for the pulverize right here, but MaRin is able to back away. In comes the redemption as well. And XX, he's tanking up so much damage to this gargoyles, and I'll turn him back on towards Celestial. He'll be falling, and MaRin comes in, looking for the water, locks down 957. He jumps away, but instant missing. He's dead. He's down. And TOP, they're chasing into 957. He's also down. 3 kills to TOP. The inhibitor as well, and they have the minion wave.
It looks like the game is just going to end off this push. Magic trying to cut off the minion waves to slow down the advance from TOP, but can they do it? A really well played teamfight from TOP. A surprise flash coming out from Cho'Gath, finishing off Mystic.
They don't have minions. I actually don't think they can do this. Magic may have just saved the game right here. They move back onto the Nexus turrets. Flash comes down onto xiye. He has been caught out. MaRin on top of him. He goes down. xiye, he's dead. Now the team just needs to kill this Nexus turret.
There's only 1 member alive from W. I don't think he can do it. That should be game for TOP.
30 seconds left. Yeah, he's just going to have to jump in. 1 versus 5. There's nothing Magic can do. He's down into the Guardian Angel. TOP about to crack this final Nexus turret. Here comes the minion wave at long last. But 5-0. TOP, 50 minutes on the clock. They slay WE in game 1.
And it really does come down to that last team fight where the front lines were in this this huge brawl, but xiye trying to go one-on-one onto MaRin in the left-hand side of the fight did not pay off very well for WE. They missed out a lot of the damage that could have came from the Ryze, and instead their front line actually collapses before TOP.
A rejuvenated roster here. MaRin now manning the top lane, and WE, a former powerhouse, a semi-finalist at Worlds, looking like no more than an average LPL team right here as TOP take them down in game 1.
A very disappointed and uncoordinated last team fight. They did have the drop onto Ggoong. He was already forced to use his flash at the start of the fight, but unfortunately I feel like the left side of WE did not handle the team fight as well as they could. Really did leave some openings for TOP to exploit, and their backline basically killed WE's backline very quickly.
Yeah, 100%. Mystic just got shredded in that last team fight. And xiye, he was trying his heart out, you know. xiye has really been stepping up recently, especially when Connie has not been there to support the team. He's been stepping up into that role. But unfortunately, as hard as he tried, that 1 versus 3 in the bottom lane was not able to hold the game.
Yeah, and the big thing for TOP was that they were able to win through smart macro play. If you look at what they did, they sent MaRin to kind of force xiye's position, and then they all ran straight to Baron. That trade was massive because it really did help them kind of continue the map control throughout most of the later parts of the game. So big props on TOP, not only doing better individually, but also playing better as a team.
Yeah, just really good stuff out from TOP overall in terms of micro and macro. That's going to do it for game 1, though. We are going to send it over to the analyst desk to break it down.
Thank you, guys. And what a game 1. xiye trying so hard. If you've ever seen someone embody Atlas and just carrying the whole weight of the world on his back, it was xiye trying to single-handedly close out the game, pushing onto the Nexus. We were joking about the Ryze auto attacks, just slowly bringing down the Nexus turrets. But TOP, swift and decisive. They did not hesitate. They saw that they were going to lose the 1v1, the 4v4, so they just turned and took the Baron instead.
Yeah, I think this is really good showing out of TOP, obviously because they won the game, but in the fashion in which they've done so, because WE, we were talking about xiye finding his split push groove. Remember, this is 8.2, so you do have that Zhonya's that can get that escape from yourself. Here's the great thing about that. We kind of saw that play coming out of Unicorns of Love earlier on in the split. So we saw the split pushing Ryze come out real. He can actually continuously split push. There was a time in which he was able to get the inhibitor and maybe move down towards the Nexus turret. The good call from TOP is that they recognized they had great team fighting. And even though some of the team fights were working in favor of WE, it wasn't clean. And a lot of the fights from them were reliant on the fact that xiye was able to get flank. The flank pressure was going to be what won the WE team fight. If the flank wasn't present, the straight front to back was in favor of the Cassiopeia lineup, was in favor of the kite back from Gnar, it was in favor of TOP, so TOP finally find that fact.
We did see multiple attempts from the likes of Mystic to try to come around and force some of these team fights, chipping away at the side, leaping in for the reset, and then immediately flashing back out because he realized he had gone too far. And though it was an admirable play to try to turn that around, he wasn't quite able to do enough damage to turn that series around. And TOP, if they win this, this is a team that is 1-8 with a single series win in, I believe it's, I think, 270 days or so. Going to be taking a series win off of our Worlds semifinalists this last year. Yes, I know they have 2 new members in Magic and Celestial, but this is unheard of.
It is crazy. And a lot of it, you look towards the standings, people are going to make heavy criticisms towards the entirety of TOP and say, well, this is a bad team you're facing up against if you're WE. WE is like, you should be able to take this win easily. But this is a completely different TOP. Running Ggoong, of course, they've always had him, but now having the top lane as well, him tag teaming with MaRin, now bringing in XX, there seems to be a lot more decisiveness, a lot more focus in how the team plays out, especially during the team fights. So it looks like the effort that they made as a team before they brought in MaRin to be more focused towards team fighting is only accentuated, or at least like accelerated, by the fact that they have MaRin who's able to play those team fights so well.
You're exactly right. Now we're going to be moving on to this game 2. We would like to apologize for the visual bugs and the sound glitches over the course of that. We realize that it's a piece of tech on our side that's sort of going on the fritz, so we're just going to be hopping into live in just a few minutes. Of course, first we've got to go through the picks and bans, which you can see on the bottom of your screen. We're going to get you all caught up on that. TOP on blue side, looks like we've got the Galio, Varus, Leona. Oh boy, that's spicy. And WE going to a Kog'Maw Vladimir composition.
Yeah, so once again, WE is going to be focusing towards that flanking pressure, right? They have the Kog'Maw, Braum, sure, so that slows down the team fights and how that works out. But if you have Vladimir and Kled, immediately you have to focus on, well, how well protected is the Varus in those situations? How well protected is, I suppose, Kha'Zix in those cases? So that's an interesting aspect coming out of WE's pick ban. But immediately we were talking about focus coming out of TOP, so bringing in Sion, Leona, Galio, all of them can look towards the fight. If they choose a fight, that fight is essentially going to be all in on. So I want to see how much pressure in the mid lane Galio is going to have going up against the Vladimir, because if he's able to get the push up against them, then obviously he's going to be able to support the bottom lane fights, because Leona should look to them, and especially with the Varus once they ping 6, that's going to be incredibly scary from WE.
Yeah, and speaking of bottom lane fights, we've actually got a replay of a bottom lane fight ready for you guys. This is something that happened just a few minutes ago, and that should get us all caught up on most of the major kills over the course of this game. I believe it starts with a skirmish between those two bottom lanes, then suddenly you've got teleports and Galio from all over the map.
Yeah, so this is the exact fear that you kind of had with the fights happening towards the bottom side. You're afraid of WE looking to create that fight, but Galio comes in, the TP comes in, Kha'Zix comes in. The entirety of TOP is ready for it. It seems like, oh, this is pretty hectic. This is the first time getting to see it, so I'm expecting TOP to come out ahead.
Ooh, Magic going golden, but finally drops to TOP QiuQiu, as that's WE trying to turn that fight around. But like you mentioned, the ability for TOP to group up as 5 and just drop pounds of crowd control makes it real tough.
So it's just difficult. It just slows the game down, really, if you're WE. If you want to create a fight going towards the bottom lane, you're not going to have it. No access at all, as long as Galio has the ability to join in.
Yeah, well, that's going to be it for our analyst desk. The game is going on behind us, and our casters are now ready to get us into Game 2.